Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this special meeting of the Los Angeles City Board of Public Works for Friday, February 5th, 2021. Good afternoon, Dr. Campos. Do we have quorum?
Good afternoon, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Establishing roll call and quorum for today, we have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Caloza and Villegas. President Good, you do have a quorum. For the record, President Good and President Pro Tem Davis are dialing in remotely from their City Hall office. And we have Commissioner Garcia, Caloza, and Villegas dialing in remotely from home. I myself, I'm dialing in remotely from my City Hall office. We're also joined today by our General Counsel, Mr. Ted Jordan, who video cam is off, but I'm sure he will turn it on in the next couple of seconds. There he is.
Mr. Ted Jordan didn't realize his camera was off. Thank you.
Thank you. President Good, you do have a quorum at this time. We do currently have one caller on the line under general public comment. We have no commentary under the neighborhood council comment section. We also have 3 callers on the line for item number 2, I'm sorry. So 3 callers on the line for item number 2. And we also received 1 Google commentary received through our website on item number 2. And I can read that into the record once this board considers item number 2.
Okay, so 1 general public comment, and then we have 1 for the record, and then 3 callers for item number 2.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, Dr. Campos. Good afternoon, Mr. Jordan, colleagues. Thanks everybody for being here. Let's go ahead and hear general public comment, Dr. Campos.
Great. Thank you, President Good. Our caller on the line for under general public comment is Ms. Diana Nicole. Diana, if you can please press *6 at this time to unmute your microphone. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak under general public comment.
Thank you, Fernando. Commissioners, the City of Los Angeles has recently embarked on an ambitious program to monitor and enhance biodiversity within its borders. A necessary part of any such strategy is to protect rare and endangered species and habitats from further loss. One of our protected tree species is the California black walnut, also known as the Southern California black walnut. It is endemic to California, found naturally no other place on the planet. California black walnut is also recognized as a rare species with a limited range that has its center in the city of Los Angeles. This area is subject to ongoing development pressure in which steep parcels are now being targeted for residential construction, threatening the walnuts. They are unique in that they never form a single species forest and only rarely a grove, but rather are often found in concert with oak trees. Coast live oak, California black walnut woodlands, have the status of sensitive natural community as defined by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. The city represents a substantial portion of its historical range, which increases the need to conserve it against existing development threats. The rarity and the declining persistence of California walnuts has been well documented for decades. The International Union for Conservation of Nature ranks the species as, quote, near threatened, which places it on the international red list. California walnuts occur mostly on private land, and their small natural range has already been highly fragmented by urban development. They, therefore, require heightened security during development and priority for conservation. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's it for public comment, right, Dr. Campos?
Yes, President Good. That concludes and closes out public commentary.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, we'll take item number 1. Do I have a second to my motion to approve the minutes for Tuesday, January 26th, 2021?
So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Any concerns or objections, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, or Commissioner Caloza?
None from me.
Okay. All right, hearing no objections, the minutes for Tuesday, January 26th, 2021 are approved and adopted forthwith. That brings us to item number 2. Item number 2 is in CD4. This is a tree removal, 2782 and 2794 North Woodstock Road. Recommending the board, 1, find that this project is categorically exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 3, Category 1, and Class 32 infill of the city's Environmental Quality Act guidelines, and there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have significant effect on the environment and is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. 2, find that none of the exceptions to the use of categorical exemption as set forth in section 15300.2 of state CEQA guidelines applies. 3, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is custodian of the documents or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based on. And 4, review and approve the request for a fee permit to remove 10 protected trees, which include 4 coast live oak trees and 6 California black walnut trees. Tree replacements are required. This item was continued from Friday, January 29th, 2021. I believe Hector Benuelos is with us here today to give a presentation. I know Dr. Campos, we have at least 3 callers plus an item or plus a submitted public record, or not public record, public comment. Let's actually go ahead and hear public comment, and then we'll hear Mr. Benuelos' presentation.
Great, thank you, Mr. President. We'll go ahead and start with our first caller on the line, Ms. Joanne D'Antonio. If you can please press *6 at this time to unmute your microphone. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak on item number 2.
Commissioners, I am Joanne D'Antonio, Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance Trees Committee Chair and member of CFAC. Allow me to read to you from the City Council Motion 03-1459-S3, which passed in August of last year and which burdened many of us involved with the trees in this community to hold meetings to find a solution to the problem that trees are not in fact being protected. Quote from that council motion: the city has taken steps to protect its trees by instituting a protected tree ordinance 177404, whose stated aim was to establish standards for the preservation of our significant trees native to Southern California, indigenous oak trees, Southern California black walnut, western sycamore, and California bay. However, the ordinance has not accomplished its goal. Protected trees are too easily removed under the current permitting process, end quote. It is at these Board of Public Works hearings where many of these trees are allowed to be removed. In December, another City Council motion was passed to add the Toyona Mexican elderberry to this protected list. My neighborhood council filed a CIS of non-support because the protected tree ordinance was not protecting any trees, just costing the developer a transaction fee of $1,084 per 5 trees and a replanting bond. What is the point of all of this, especially when so-called replacement trees are often planted in too crowded an area or not planted at all, justifying that the bond was just the cost of doing business? A protected tree ordinance is supposed to regulate the effects of development on the natural environment and protect trees on private property. The LA San Biodiversity Report points to the fact that these native trees are under threat in an area, Los Angeles, that has been designated as a hotspot.
2 minutes.
Can I have one more sentence? I was going to do this under general public comment.
Go ahead, finish your statement.
If we keep allowing the protected trees to be removed, I fear we are wasting time and money having these hearings, and we may just as well give up on any attempts at environmental protection of these trees that have critical health significance for our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. D'Antonio. We'll move on to the next caller on the line, Catherine Pacraduni. Catherine, if you can please press *6 at this time to unmute your phone. Please state your name again for the record. I'm sure I did not pronounce it correctly.
You actually did. My name is Catherine Pacraduni. I am the Council District 4 representative on CFAC, the Community Forest Advisory Committee. I just wanted to say that a loss of indigenous trees in an oak walnut woodland really does pose a significant negative effect on the environment, despite its categorical exemption from CEQA, and it is of significant conservation concern. Nursery replacements of the same species do not substitute for wild indigenous trees that have evolved on our hillsides for millennia, developing regional genetic adaptations that ensure their longevity and resilience. A nursery stock is not going to cut it. We need to be able to preserve our wild species that have been there and evolving for hundreds and hundreds of years. California black walnut trees occur nowhere else on the planet. It is the significant threat of losing irreplaceable trees like this that has made Conservation International designate California as a biodiversity hotspot. Allowing a development on this steep woodland hillside that will remove such critical trees flies in the face of that important international designation, not to mention the efforts within the city with regards to the biodiversity initiative and the wildlife pilot study and the Green New Deal. So I really urge you to reconsider allowing this steep hillside development to move ahead in this way, or at least please require the redesign of the property so that the trees be retained. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Pacardini.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to the last caller on the line for item number 2. Diana Nickel, if you can please press *6 at this time to unmute your microphone. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak on item number 2.
Hi, Diana Nicole, landscape ecologist here. Unfortunately, Commissioners, analysis of development proposals by Planning and the Urban Forestry Division have been chronically ineffectual when it comes to what is being proposed in terms of true necessity, unless there's external pressure from outside groups. The chair of CFAC, chair of the NCSA Trees Committee, and I have reviewed the project plans available to us and visited the site. Let's first be clear, this is not an affordable housing project. We don't believe that all of these oak and walnut trees need to be removed in order to allow for development to occur. There should be some further refinement of the plans to save trees to allow for reasonable development to occur without such a disruption to this oak walnut woodland. We realize that any building on this steep parcel will cause a disruption to this woodland, but we should minimize the disruption and minimize the loss of a natural resource by forcing the applicant to tweak his plans. Building the absolute maximum that the hillside baseline ordinance allows and allowing the developer to install as much as possible in the terms of hardscape and other amenities as he possibly can is not necessarily reasonable, especially at the cost of a rare species and a sensitive natural plant community. These woodlands are our forests in the city. Commissioners, whether you like it or not, you can't rely on anyone else to do this for you. City Council said it's your job to make these determinations when there are 3 or more tree removals. Commissioner Davis, you've been on this board when it has used its discretion to save trees many times. A few years ago, a project in Studio City Hills went from 21 protected tree removals to 1 tree removal after you determined that the project was not on firm environmental ground for a categorical exemption, and the applicant was told to look at alternatives to cutting down the trees. We urge you to exercise your discretion again in this case and save these trees. Ask the applicant to tweak his plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nicole. Thank you, members of the public. Very much appreciate the input. Dr. Campos, do you want to read the comment that you received into the record, please?
Absolutely. Comment received from Dr. Linda Whitford on item number 2. Her commentary reads, I urge the board to continue this item further. Please ask the developer and his architect to review their plans and consider all available design alternatives that would preserve native habitat on site, and return the board with these options, period. Depending upon the specifics of the project, measures to achieve slope stability as required by the grading department may be achievable via less impactful methods. End of commentary, and she is against the item.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Thank you, folks. All right, Mr. Benuelos, can you please proceed with your presentation?
Yes. Good afternoon, President Good, Commissioners. Hector Banuelos of Streets LA Urban Forestry Division. We have before us is a request to remove 10 protected trees, which includes 6.
Hector, you're frozen.
Hector, if you can hear us, your video is on freeze. We can no longer hear you.
In 2 lots each for one single family residence.
Hector, you're gonna need to start over, sir. We're gonna need you're gonna need to start over, please. You were frozen.
Okay. No problem. Can you hear me okay?
We got you now.
Okay. All right. Yes. Good afternoon, President Good, Commissioners. Hector Banuelos of Streets LA Urban Forestry Division. We have before us is a request for a fee permit to remove 10 protected trees, which includes 6 Southern California black walnuts and 4 coast live oak trees for construction of 2 single-family residences. These are 4 vacant lots located in Council District 4 in the Mulholland Drive Scenic Corridor, of which the applicant is going to be developing 2 lots for each of the residences. Each lot would measure 28,800 square feet and 19,352 square feet. And the residences will be 3-story and 4-story residences with the residential floor area of approximately 3,700 square feet each. There are 13 protected trees located on 2782 Woodstock, of which 6 are proposed to be removed. And there are 12 protected trees on 2794 Woodstock, of which 4 trees to be removed. The 4 trees here consist of 2 walnuts and 2 oak trees. The 6 trees on 2782 consist of hold on a minute. Better get my notes. Okay, there's 2 coast live oaks and 4 walnuts. So if approved, the applicant will plant 8 24-inch box-size coast live oaks and 16 15-gallon or as large a container size available of Southern California black walnuts at 2782, and 8 24-inch box-size coast live oaks and 8 15-gallon size or large container size available in Southern California black walnuts at 2794 Woodstock. There are the other remaining trees will be minimally impacted and remain in place. The project, being that's in Mulholland Drive Scenic Corridor, was reviewed and approved by the Department of City Planning. We also prepared a notice of exemption under Category 32 of the City CEQA guidelines. The Community Forestry Advisory Committee, the Department of Empowerment, and the Council District 4 were notified of the tree removal permit request. The division did not hear any response, receive any response from their council office in either opposition or in support of this project here. Any questions?
Before we open it up for discussion, Hector, did you reach the new Council District 4 office?
Yes, I sent them 2 emails last Thursday and Friday to the new cabinet there within Council District 4, and I have not received a response from the council office.
Okay. All right, colleagues. Let's open up discussion. President Pro Tem Davis, why don't we start off with you?
Okay. Thank you, Hector, for the report. And I want to get some clarity on the numbers here. You told me that there were 2 walnuts and 2 live oaks proposed to be removed?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I did, but those, okay, at 2782, So there are 13 protected trees on the property, of which 2 coast live oaks and 4 black walnuts are within the footprint of the proposed developments or adjacent to it need to be removed. So you have 2 coast live oaks and 4 walnuts on that property. At 2794, we have a total of 12 protected trees on the property, of which 1 black walnut and 2 coast live oak trees are located within the footprint of the proposed driveway and entryway, and 1 black walnut is located within the footprint of the entryway. So there are a total of 4 trees there at that one property that are proposed for removal.
So it's on the footprint of the driveway, right?
Within on this property, 1 is within the footprint of the driveway, the entryway there, and the other 3 are within the footprint or directly adjacent to the footprint of the home.
And they are protected trees.
They are all protected trees, yes.
And so you're asking for us to give you the permit to remove those trees because of their location, right?
We're recommending approval of the removal because of their location, yes. The applicant is asking for the permit.
How many trees overall are we removing from this site?
There are 10 trees overall for both properties.
10 from both properties. And in each of the cases, certainly you've explained to me in the driveway that certainly it's a risk to the neighbors, I guess, coming in and out of the driveway that these trees are in the way there. However, in the other cases of the 10 that you mentioned, are there any other alternatives that might be available for us before we,
I'm looking at the plans, and the division always struggles with these type of requests, in that it is difficult to dictate exactly how much development they could construct, right? The residents, how much of a development they could construct, right? And what is considered reasonable. On this case, where there's steep topography here, there's a lot of grading work to be done. There's just a lot of excavation. The walnuts do not perform well, do not sustain impacts of any disturbance of the roots anywhere adjacent to the walnuts. They will fail. And so I'm looking at the plans. It doesn't appear to be much. If they do reduce it, there'll be virtually not much left of a home, the way I see it, the way when we reviewed it. Mm-hmm. But the applicant, I believe, is online, and I can defer to the applicant and perhaps their team
Sure.
Maybe give some additional details.
Yeah, I'd love to have a better understanding if it's not taking too much time. I'd like to find out about the potential alternatives for the supplemental number absent the 2 that you mentioned earlier. What alternatives might we have for these other remaining trees?
If I could maybe chime in, my name's Luke Tar. I'm from the architect's office.
Yes, sir.
And just wanted to comment on the design. So we actually went through quite a few different iterations with the Mulholland Design Review Board. And contrary to what I think was maybe said, the houses are almost at half of what they are allowed to be built based on baseline ordinance, which is borderline. Maybe not even far from what the developer wanted, but it was we brought the areas down based on what Mulholland asked us to, far below what we're actually allowed to, and so there were significant reductions in areas to these houses to get them to minimize any kind of impacts on the trees on the hillside.
So is this one of the larger houses in the development?
So the the 2794 is slightly smaller than the 2782.
Okay, and so these houses can't be built without removing the trees.
So we brought them as close as building safety will allow us to the street. The building safety has a couple different offsets. Besides the setback, they have a height offset also, and everything is pushed to the very front as far as possible. In addition to Mulholland Design Review, wants us to push it into the hill to get the articulation, the design articulation. So between those criteria, we have smushed these buildings to. I mean, we're still pleased with how they look. We feel, and Mulholland was pleased with how they look, but we really squeezed every single inch in every direction to get these things to be as small as possible and still good designs for the hillside.
Okay, now
in Mulholland.
when you say as small as possible, are these houses consistent perhaps with the theme in terms of size of the other houses in the neighborhood, or are they distinguished from the other houses in the neighborhood in some way?
Correct. So based on the baseline hillside ordinance and zoning, we would actually be able to build quite a bit on one of the lots. I think actually double the size. The other lot, not quite double, but maybe about 50 to 60% more. But then Mulholland has us do with neighborhood compatibility studies. So we actually go by the other houses in the neighborhood, and so we were penalized for things like our basement and garage to actually include it in our area to get our area to be what they call compatible to the houses around us. And we actually went through, I think, maybe even 5 different iterations with Mulholland Design Review Board to get it to the size that they felt was
so that the other houses don't have basements, and this house does have one. Is that what you're telling me?
You know, when we did the neighborhood compatibility, we weren't comparing basements. I don't know how many did or didn't have basements. They just asked us to include our basement, and so we did. There might be some houses that did include basement, but there were others that didn't. But we did, so that was a more conservative approach.
So I'm trying to get a better understanding of some of the dynamics going here, and I'm not so sure that I really understand all of what they are. But let me just ask that these houses that you're building pretty much are compatible with the other houses in the neighborhood in general. Is that right? Or are they different in some way? I'm trying to really understand that.
Yeah, so the main call of Mulholland Design Review Board is to ensure the compatibility of houses in the neighborhood, and so these were thoroughly vetted through through Mulholland Design Review to make sure that they were compatible as appropriate houses for this area. And so that was our call and our job to justify with them and get their agreement. And we spent actually a couple of years, and I think we actually were up about 5 iterations to get the house that where they felt were compatible with the neighborhood.
Does this property have less trees on it than perhaps the other properties? The
other properties are developed, so it's a little difficult to say. The properties are rather large, and the top portions of the property, a significant amount of those properties were actually going to be deeded to the MCRA, so they'd be protected for wildlife, and then the majority of the vegetation is at the top also. So the houses, there were some trees at the bottom of the property that there's really no way to put a house without affecting those trees, but they really are at the very bottom of the lots, which is the smallest footprint possible, the most compatible structures possible, and then leaving the whole rest of the house with that MCRA restricted area that goes up, 11 or 2794. It goes along that property up to a pretty about 40 feet. They measured in the back area. That's restricted use area for wildlife.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good, and thank you everybody that came in to provide comments, and to our the developer as well for answering all those questions. It gives us a better picture out there. I have a couple of questions and concerns as well. Hector, 10 protected trees is a lot. And I don't think we've seen that in a while here at the board. I think we get, 3s, 4s, maybe 1 or 2 here and there. And maybe I'm wrong, but I can't remember the last time we had a request for 10 protected trees to be removed. Two, that's my concern, but 2 other things. One is, did the neighborhood council agree? What is their position on this? Were they consulted? Did they receive a presentation on this project? Do we know that?
UFT, I do not know that. UFT does not do presentations to neighborhood councils, but they were notified through the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment.
So we don't have an official. We don't know if these presentations were ever given or presented in front of the neighborhood council. Do we?
Can anybody hear me?
Sir, can you hold on that, please, unless Vice President Garcia asks?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Hector, I just want to know if there was official presentation.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay, so
No.
the developer, do you know? Have you guys done official presentations to the local neighborhood council?
Yeah. So this is Lutar from Pal Design. Correct. So the neighborhood council and the council office was at all of the Mulholland Design Review meetings where the tree removals were a part of the application during all of those presentations. And it was a firm point of Mulholland that it was a point that we needed to make sure that the tree replacements were part of the approval.
Okay,
So,
and let me ask a second question, because there was a transition of office during this entire time. Has the new office of Council District 4 has been fully briefed? I mean, I know we had a comment today and they're in opposition of this, so have they been fully briefed and presented of what type of project you're doing?
No, I have not communicated with them, Commissioner. I did send them a couple emails, one on Thursday, one on Friday, informing them of today's hearing. I did forward all the documents to them as well, asking them to please let me know if they want to discuss and or if they have any concerns regarding the request. And I didn't hear anything back from them on both occasions.
Okay, I almost feel like we should give an opportunity to the new office of Council District 4 to take a look at this entire project, and then give their feedback, and then we can have a more thorough conversation about this. That's my opinion, my recommendation for this. I think that there has to be more communication regarding 10 protected trees being removed, and it's a new office, and I just feel we need to give them the opportunity to have a say on this. So I'm gonna stop the rest of my questions, because my other questions went into what is the health of all these 10 protected trees. I mean, do some merit to be removed or not? But I think I will hold all that because I think I'll feel more comfortable when CD4 actually gets the entire briefing. But that's where I stand on this. Thank you, President Good, and Hector, and everybody else for your answers.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Commissioner Closer.
Thank you, President Good. Thank you to everyone who joined during public comment and gave your feedback. Thank you to Mr. Banuelos for your presentation. I had a question. I'm not sure if it might be either for Mr. Banuelos or to the architect for this project, but the Mulholland Design Review process was mentioned a few times. Sounds like there's been at least 5 iterations of the design that have occurred to date. Can someone please explain and elaborate if some of the organizations or individuals who were here earlier for public comment, since it sounds like they attended that process, were they involved at all during kind of the redesigns of these subsequent iterations? Just curious to what extent their feedback has been incorporated in the design that we have here today that's resulting in these 10 removals.
The applicant should probably respond to that, Commissioner.
Okay.
Luke, are you there?
Luke, if you can please press *6 to unmute your microphone. There you go.
So the question was if the neighborhood council and the council district's feedback during the design process was included into the design?
Not just necessarily the neighborhood council or the council office. There's just, it sounds like other stakeholders were involved during the mall and design review process, and it sounds like these tree removals were brought up then. And I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time talking because I can hear an echo of myself.
Yeah, can someone please hit mute other than Luke? And I'm sorry, Luke, I don't know your last name, so I don't mean to be presumptuous. And anyone else?
Yeah, the feedback's coming from Luke's line, so he may be listening through a different device and then talking on the phone.
Okay.
Oh, really? So I just have the one phone.
Okay. Still there.
During each hearing, so there's a process where we get comments from all the neighbors and neighborhood council and planning as far as different ways that we can adjust the property to be less impactful to the hill and a better compatible structure to the neighborhood. And so as far as the trees go, because the structures were at the bottom of the hill, that was basically the least impactful. The idea was to get the houses down as low as possible, as close to the street as possible. And then a lot of the comments were the size of the structures, that we lowered the area of the house quite a bit to get it to be not only smaller for compatibility reasons, but then also the footprint was reduced, and we brought the retaining walls of the house actually as close as we possibly could to minimize the extent of the development. They're hugging the structure as close as we possibly can get them. And the types of comments had to do with area and height. I know that there were some comments about trees, in particular that the right replacement ratio was used, which we seemed that everybody was in agreement that the correct replacement ratio was used. I'm not sure if Lisa is on the phone, but there's quite a bit of space on the property. She
So
maybe can speak.
Maybe I can just ask you this question instead. And I'm going to try to ask you my question without pausing because I can hear myself. During this process, was there any progress to the amount of impacted trees as a result of having to go through this design review process? Like, I know what's before is this 10 tree removals, but you start with a different number and then ended up at 10 now because there's some sort of redesign. That's what I'm trying to understand, if there was any progress to minimize the impact to this area.
In regards to the actual tree removals, since the majority of the comments had to do with creating the smallest structure that was possible to build there, as close to the street as possible, it was my kind of understanding through all the process that it was a given that is as small as the structure that can go there as close to the street to minimize the trees that were on the upper portion of the lot. That was a given to minimize the structure footprint, minimize the size of the house, and allow the developer to have a house that was reasonably compatible to the neighborhood. And then there were some trees at the bottom that we were asked to replace at the city required ratio, which the developer agreed to.
Okay, so thank you, Luke. I think we're kind of going around in circles here a little bit, so maybe I'll just conclude there and maybe just kind of end with, I think it might be helpful to have the consultant arborist who worked on the protected tree report on the line. That would be really helpful to understand kind of the progress of how we ended up with 10 and if there was any improvements in terms of impact to this area. Just so we can, I hate to continue putting Luke on the spot here since he's the architect and not the arborist, but it would be helpful to have that additional context.
Commissioner Caloza, we may have the developer on the line, Lisa Smith. We have a hands raised, caller ending in 890, caller ending in 8900. Are you Miss Lisa Smith? If you can please press *6 at this time to unmute your microphone.
I'm not the arborist Lisa Smith. It's Diana Nicole again. I just want to mention that there's swimming pools and lots of hardscape.
Linda, please. This is a very specific process. So
is Miss Lisa Smith on the line at this time? Lisa Smith, if you can please press *9 to raise your hand if you're on the line. Lisa Smith from Tree Resource.
Yeah, the answer is no.
No response, Commissioner Caloza.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Campos. I'm done with my questions, President Good. I do think that, at least for me, I don't think I have enough information before since the arborist isn't here to fully understand this and agree with the other sentiment of my colleagues of other information from the council office that would be helpful in making a determination. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Caloza. Commissioner Villegas.
I thank you, and thank you, Mr. Banuelos, for your report, and I appreciate the public comment as well. I just don't think that we're going to have enough information to make a determination on this. I would just suggest that we, either go with a 2-week continuance, President Good, or maybe a month, so that we have all parties here and able to make some concessions. All we have is the architect, and thank you so much to the architect for joining us. I know that that's what you're tasked to do, but it would also be helpful if we could have the developer present also. This doesn't necessarily rely on your responsibility, but sometimes we just need to make some concessions, and at the end of the day, the developer would have that, would make those calls. So I just think that we don't have enough information. It's not entirely ready yet, and then just to make matters a little bit more complicated, we don't have the council district fully briefed on this issue, and that is imperative for us in order for us to move forward. That's all my comment.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. And thank you everybody for comments. Luke or Mr. Luke, architect. What's your name, Luke? Your last name?
Luke Tarr.
Luke Tarr. Mr. Tarr. I just wanted to be respectful, certainly. So, Mr. Tarr, you said you spent 5 years or 5 iterations or both working to make the property compatible with the Mulholland or the Mulholland plan?
It was, I believe, 5 iterations years-wise, 2013. So we started.
President Good, this is Ted. Let me just jump in. So the transmittal number 5 in the Bureau's report is, it's referred to in the report as the letter of determination. Actually, there's 2 letters of determination, I think one for each property, both dated October 2018. They go through and identify the various different meetings of the design review board. So I think in one case, there may have been 7. I was focusing on sort of the first of the two letters. There could have been easily been a similar number of meetings of the design review board. And the report, again, is transmittal number 5, goes through and indicates each time that board met as part of that Mulholland specific plan review.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So I'm not going to belabor this right now. I'll just say that it feels curious to me that a lot of work was clearly put into making this comport with the Mulholland plan and other things, and yet the protected tree ordinance, an ordinance established by the Los Angeles City Council and the mayor of Los Angeles, it feels like an afterthought. That may be a presumption, but it is a protected tree ordinance that presumptively would help to guide the decision-making around reasonable development. And that is not, at least based on the record that I'm seeing, appear to be the case. These are 10 very significant trees. And I certainly don't feel like I have adequate information. And quite frankly, I'm surprised that after 7 years, the developer would not be here with us, or the arborist would not be with us either. I find that surprising. And so the litany of things that I've heard so far certainly make it apparent to me that this is a premature decision if we were to call a vote right now. I'll also just share that I would like, when this item comes back, I've received an email indicating that there may have been trees already removed. That may be completely untrue. I would like more information around that. And what I'm going to do, colleagues, unless there is objection, is I'm going to continue this for 30 days. And I would ask parties to go back and think about what's possible here. And then I would expect to see both the developer, well, actually, if they choose not to be here, that's fine too. But it would be helpful, let me put it that way, for the developer and the arborist to be here when we're talking about removing 10 trees, 10 protected trees.
Mr. President, can you also accept a friendly amendment to also request that they have a discussion with the 4th District Council Office as it relates to these plans and our policy on protected trees?
I would certainly request that, yeah. And I think it's important, colleagues, to remember it is we make this decision, not at the behest of our colleagues in the council. But yes, Mike, it's obviously crucial, and we work closely with all of our colleagues. So I think that would certainly be wise, and it would be helpful for us for sure. So yeah, I would echo President Pro Tem Davis's request on that. And if not the applicant, then Street LA, certainly. So so Dr. Campos, let's given these are special meetings, we will contingent on what 30 days is out. We won't necessarily set that date right now. We'll figure that out, and we'll plan on 30 days from today. 30 days, business days from today. Okay.
Mr. President, just for clarity, are you asking the board to continue this item to a date to be determined?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, we can schedule it for 4 weeks, which is Friday, March the 5th, or Tuesday, March the 9th.
Actually,
so we can.
I'm comfortable doing that. We'll push it back out, but let's do it for Tuesday, March 9th.
Tuesday, March 9th. Great, thank you.
Right. Any objections, colleagues? Okay. Thank you, Hector, Adele, I see you're here. Thank you, Mr. Tar. And thank you, Ms. D'Antonio, Ms. Packarduni, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Ms. Nicole and Ms. Whitford, or Dr. Whitford, thank you all. All right, colleagues, that brings us to item number 3. Item number 3 is an authority for expenditure for CR&R Inc., Bureau of Sanitation and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $12,100,000 to encumber funds to pay for the processing and marketing of residential blue bin materials from Harbor, West Los Angeles, North Central, and South Los Angeles watersheds. I believe Bob Potter is with us this afternoon. Bob, will you be presenting?
No, Ron Milo will be presenting.
Oh, hi. Ron Milo is also with us. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Commissioner. Good afternoon, President Good,
Good afternoon.
Commissioner Garcia, Davis, Calosa, and Villegas, Executive Officer, Dr. Campos, and City Attorney. My name is Ronaldo Milo from the Solid Resources Support Services Division, LA Sanitation and the Environment. I am here today seeking your authorization for the approval of the Authority for Expenditure AE number 215-08006M. LA San manages the processing and marketing services of residential blue bin materials from Harbor, West LA, South LA, North Central wastesheds, which are being processed by CR&R Incorporation under a letter of agreement. Harbor, West LA, South LA, and North Central wastesheds generates approximately 45 tons per day, 175 tons TPD, 110 tons per day, and 140 tons per day of blue bin materials, respectively. CR&R process approximately 480 tons per day for the city from these wastesheds. LA San is requesting the board to authorize expenses in the amount of $12.1 million using the Solid Waste Resources Fund to pay CR&R services for the processing and marketing of residential blue bin materials from the mentioned wastesheds between July 1st, 2020 up to June 30, 2021. There is no impact to the general fund. This AE will be for 1 year, while LA San is working on establishing longer-term contracts. LA San sent out a request for proposal last January of 2020 and is currently evaluating the proposals received. This concludes my presentation and ready to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Milo. Colleagues, I do believe, even though this is paying bills in essence, this would be subject to the mayor's cost containment process. With that, let's entertain any questions or thoughts. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. I do not have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Milo, for your presentation, and happy Friday to everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Bob, where are your cats? Sorry, just quick divergence.
They're taking a nap, and I don't want to bother them.
They're like, we don't want anything to do with your board meetings. All right, President Duncan Davis, any questions or thoughts?
You're on mute, Dr. Davis.
You're muted, Mike. Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. President, no questions for me, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Closa?
Thank you, President Good. I know you mentioned that, obviously we've been approving a lot of these AFEs as an interim to the longer term contracts. Is this the last AFE we're approving before we get the longer contracts in place, or are there more AFEs that we can be, that we expect to approve as kind of a bridge gap for services?
Thank you, Commissioner Colasso, for the question. So we received some proposals from the RFP that we sent last January 2020, and we are planning, and we plan to have the contract in place before the term of this LOA ends, which is by the end of this fiscal year.
Okay, so this is the last AFE that we're approving for CR&R.
That's the plan, Commissioner.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that, Mr. Milo, and Mr. Potter. I look forward to seeing the results of that RFP. I know that's taken a lot of work from your team. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Commissioner Beals.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, yeah, I don't either. Thank you for the presentation was very clear, Mr. Milo. I will motion to approve this AFE as amended, subject to the mayor's cost containment process. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Any questions, concerns, or epiphanies? Commissioner Colosa, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis.
None for me.
None for me either.
All right. Hearing no objections, this item is adopted forthwith as amended, subject to the mayor's cost containment process. Thank you, Mr. Milo. Thank you, Bob.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you all very much. Okay, Dr. Campos, item number 4 is an administrative item. Are you going to introduce this?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, Commissioners. The item before you is a communication from the Mayor's Office authorizing this board to execute any authority for expenditures for any dollar amount that are sent to the board for approval for utilities such as electricity payments, water payments, or gas payments. Also taxes such as sales tax, property tax, or even utility taxes, and any regulatory and or permit fees for activities that are funded within the city's budget. The communication from the Mayor's Office also authorizes this board to approve those AFEs where necessary when the cost containment or the Executive Directive 3 has already been approved and it no longer requires it to be sent to the City Attorney's Office for review or even the Mayor's Office for review under the cost containment memo. Therefore, we are asking this board to make a motion to accept and approve this communication and accept the communication from the Mayor's Office.
Okay. Do I have do we need to vote on this, Dr. Campos?
Yes, you do.
Okay. By the way, this is great news. This is going to be very helpful. All right. Do I have a motion to accept this communication from the Mayor's Office?
So move.
President Pro Tem Davis got to the gate. We got a second from Commissioner Colosa. Vice President Garcia, Commissioner Villegas, anything from y'all on this?
No, not for me.
Nope.
All right. All right. Hearing no concerns or objections, this communication from the Mayor's Office is accepted enthusiastically and adopted forthwith. Thank you, Dr. Campos. All right. That brings us to item number 5, which is an oral report from Streets LA. We have a status update on major improvement street improvement projects. Who's here with us today on this? Mr. Nichols, is it you?
Yes, sir, it is.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, President Good, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, Dr. Campos. My name is Sherrod Nichols with the Street Renewal Division for Streets LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects to minimize the impact to the community as well as delays to the commuters. We have an update for the Metro and Valley region for the week of February 7th through February 13th, 2021. The Metro region will complete 8 projects for a total of 4.5 lane miles. The Valley region on Monday, February 8th through Thursday, February 11th, 2021, from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., we will resurface Woodman Avenue from Van Nuys Boulevard to Nordhoff Street in CD6. Our Leader Neighborhood Council, Pavement Preservation Program Fund. Additionally, during the week of February 7th through February 13th, 2021, the Valley region will complete 7 projects for a total of 10.04 lane miles. The press releases were broadcast and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council district offices to assist with the outreach to stakeholders, and we have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Any questions, colleagues?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are these part of the ADAPT program? No?
Yes, yes, actually, yes, the Woodman is a part of the ADAPT program, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But Sherrod, as you know, this is Adel Haj Khalil, General Manager for Streets LA. As you know, the ADAPT program has, we actually transitioned away from it with the relaxed parking removed. So we're back to paving normal streets. So I would say that we are now doing street paving as part of our normal program. Since the relaxed parking has been lifted, we are back to normal paving, as you all know. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Woodman is part of it. I know it's a major street, but that's what we are right now, is continuing paving. I just want to also just note something as we're talking about Sherrod is we got a nice note through the Board of Public Works, and the president received a note from a constituent who was very appreciative to one of our equipment operators who are doing paving, and the lady was moving her car and the car was dead, and she was fumbling, not knowing what to do, and our work ran and was able to help her jumpstart her car and move her car, and she was so grateful, so appreciative. And I want to just to show my appreciation to the workers at Sherrod, that you and your staff, and I know the board does that, and I know they're very grateful. But it's all a story about being compassionate and really a service-oriented city and department. So I want to say to you and the team, the name of the individual is Ennis Fleming. I want to just mention his name as a equipment operator. I asked the division manager to issue a commendation in his name and to actually place it in his personnel folder. Just want to communicate that. And thank you, President Good, for communicating that to our staff and all of us. I think this is always good to get a good story with all the hard work we do, but we are also human beings, servants, and public servants first and foremost. Thank you.
Best email I got yesterday. So thank you, Adele. Thank you, Sherrod, and all of Streets LA. Those are great. Those are great notes. So thank you all. All right, and we will certainly be spending some time with you again here shortly. Before we do, let's go to item number 6. Item number 6 is specialized on-call maintenance services update from Bureau of Sanitation. Who's with us today on this item?
We have Ms. Karen Ngala.
Hi, Ms. Ngala.
Sitting good, commissioners, bureau representatives, and Dr. Campos. Sorry, I just was running upstairs.
You were so excited to give this presentation.
I was. I needed to find a quieter place. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that we have no new projects for this contract. The one project that I mentioned last week had to do with some emergency excavation that we were doing. We're still waiting for quotations back from the 2 contractors in order to move forward with that project. So really no status changed on that one. The other item I wanted to bring up has to do with the frequency that we're doing the reports. When we were in development for this contract, we were, all AVC, who's the project manager for this, was reporting on a quarterly basis. And we've noticed the last few weeks, this has been on the agenda on a weekly basis. And it is an as-needed contract, so it's not as if, it's not similar to the streets. Like I was listening the last couple of weeks to the streets report where every week they have some impact to the public and report on that. Our projects typically do not impact the public, and most of them are on site of one of the water reclamation plants. So I was going to request if we could reduce the report back to quarterly at the most, and possibly even on a semi-annual basis.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ngala. Um, I'm actually, colleagues, please comment. I'm very comfortable with it, at least moving into these quarterly reports. I didn't actually realize, I'm an old man, I forget stuff. I didn't realize we were doing these weekly. Any objections to that? I'm very comfortable with that. And Dr. Campos, I'm comfortable with these being at least quarterly, and we could entertain going biannually as well later, but maybe moving to quarterly right now. Any thoughts, colleagues, or concerns with that?
I just want to say I didn't realize we were doing the weekly either. But I'm okay.
I feel like it was possibly an error. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no,
I feel like it was not intentional that they keep appearing on the agenda every week.
Oh, okay. I'm fine with quarterly for now. I'm okay with that.
Was there some reason, Dr. Campos, that we need to know about that maybe perhaps some areas of work was a weekly report versus others, or how did that happen?
Good question, Commissioner Davis. I would have to go back to my notes to isolate which agenda date this board requested more frequent updates on this item, simply because things change. But to Ms. Ngala's point that the changes do occur, but they don't occur on a weekly or a weekly basis. So therefore, a more appropriate frequency would be quarterly or keeping it where it used to be. And I would support that as well if your commission would like. Ultimately, it's the board that can decide the frequency of this. If your board wishes to hear this more often or more soon, then we can increase that frequency to weekly or monthly. In this case, Ms. Ngala is proposing to go back to the quarterly schedule or perhaps even semi-annual.
Why don't we go with quarterly, and we'll see if it ends up being that's not even necessary. We'll go semi-annual. We don't want to wear Ms. Ngala.
Okay, very good.
Got to run upstairs and everything.
Well, that's not every time.
I'm playing. All right. So, do we need to take any sort of action, Dr. Campos? Or you're just going to make that shift?
Just your instruction to change these reports back to quarterly.
So let's do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. We will note that. Thank you.
Dr. Campos, if we could have this, if it's going to be on a Friday agenda, if you could please make it on part of week 2. That would be better.
We will do our best. However, we do have other oral reports that are competing against this. So if the second Friday is available, we will do everything we can to accommodate. However, no promises at this time.
All right. No problem. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Thomas. And that brings us now to item number 7. I believe this is our what I would say is our well, that's the wrong way to put it. Our last, thankfully, retirement, virtual retirement send-off to the women and men in Streets LA who have availed themselves, and they deserve all the congratulations in the world of the Separation Incentive Program. Commissioner Villegas, Commissioner Vice President Garcia, get your Kleenex, because I think we've all been the most frequent criers on these things. Buckle up, folks.
Calling us out. Thanks for calling us out.
Hey, I've cried at least 75% of these things, so I'm calling myself out. Hey, crying is healthy, particularly during existential crises all over the place. So, sorry, I wasn't calling you out. I was calling you.
I'm going to deliver a box of Kleenex right now to your office, Commissioner. President Good.
Thank you. So with that, I'll hand it over to Adele Hashkhalil. I also want to obviously acknowledge Councilman Bob Blumenfeld, the chair of Public Works Committee, and a constant, relentless stalwart for our work and champion for our work. So I'll hand it to Adele, who I know is going to it's Bob, and then take it back.
Yeah, thank you very much, President Good, commissioners. This is both a sad and joyous day, and a joyous day to see people celebrate their career and service and retire healthy back to their families. While we thank them for the service, we will miss them. this city will miss them. We will all miss their great work. And so it's very emotional to see people and the family leaving us. But as we all know, a family sticks together, family gets back together and continue. I'll tell you, people that have already retired have continued to provide us support and help anytime we need that, in terms of guidance, in terms of mentoring to the staff who are stepped up in this. And I'll tell you, when you create a culture of inclusion, a culture of support, a culture of family, family stays together no matter what. And I think we're proud that, as we always say, streets connect us. It connects people, it connects workers, it connects us. And I shared the story earlier about the worker who stepped out of his way last week, helping a resident while they're paving the street, jumpstart her car, and she was thankful. It's all about improving the quality of life for everyone. And the people we have here today that we're celebrating, we want to take this opportunity to say thank you from the bottom of our heart, from the bottom of my heart, and I want to look forward to continuing to have them part of the family and doing the work. And I know a lot of our staff will be here to present, but I want to thank the chair of Public Works Committee, Councilman Bob Bloomfield, for being a champion for our community, our environment, our streets, innovation, and really somebody who supported us in getting our three resources we need: the streets in our hillside addressed, the failed streets addressed, and really bringing back the service to our department, and getting to work together on what I call the integration, innovation, and inclusion. So without any further ado, I want to introduce the councilman, chair of our Public Works Committee, Bob.
Great. Well, thank you, Adele. And you really, you talk about the culture that you're creating. You really have been doing an amazing job of creating that culture, the culture of inclusion, and just that family atmosphere that binds this whole group, binds it better than what is the street binder that we use in the latest formula. I mean, it is 1781 or whatever it is. This is a much better binder that you've got. And I appreciate you giving me a moment just to come in and say a few words, not just as a council member and as the chair of Public Works, but as an Angelino, to express my gratitude to all the folks here who are retiring, and to bid you a farewell, and just to express my sincere thanks. I've met some of you, but there are a lot of folks here I haven't met, but I didn't want this day to go by. And I get to work on these policy issues with Adele and with others, but it's all of you who really look out for the communities throughout LA and make sure that this city is a great place to live, and do the work that makes this city great. And I just want you to know, a day doesn't go by where I'm not grateful for the work that you do, making this city the great city that it is. And I want you to give yourselves a pat on the back, because of the work that you've done, and this public service, I truly believe is a very noble profession, and all of you who've engaged in it have been part of that nobility, and you will wear that even after you leave. The mark of LA never leaves you, because you have been part of the city, you have created the city, and this city will always be a part of you. And so with that, I just wanted to say thank you, and I wish you good luck. I wish you safe, healthy future, and just know that you are LA, and LA is you, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, for making the time, and thank you for always your support. Appreciate it.
Thank you, council member.
So I want to just also say something to, this is the kickoff of African American Heritage Month, and I was just I'm big on quotes and inspirational leadership quotes, and I know we did a presentation with Commissioner Villegas. I know we're trying to get our leadership team and process started this Tuesday, And one thing I told the staff is you are saving lives. If you look at your goal as a bigger goal of saving lives, we are saving lives. We're not just fixing streets. We're enhancing for everyone. That's our mission. And our higher calling is we save lives. By fixing a sidewalk, we're saving a life. By trimming a tree, we're saving a life. By falling on somebody, by fixing a road, we're preventing an accident of a family. We are saving lives. And I tell people, take pride when you go home, know that you've saved lives. You are at the heart of making this city a great city. And there's a quote by the late Martin Luther King Jr. He said, you know, everybody, as you know, the service, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verbs agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. And many of our staff, I don't see people, none of us see people based on their education, their degree. We see people based on what they provide, the love and soul they have. And I see people as people. The reason we can see further, because we stand on the shoulders of giants that we have. And these people that are retiring today, in my view, are the giants that I'll always be thankful and grateful for them uplifting the city and making the city a better place. With that, I want to just ask John Duday to just run a video or PowerPoint to recognize the staff, and I'll turn it back to you, President Good, after the video.
Greetings, this is Adele. Hey, I want to talk to you and say thank you for your service, for your work, for everything you've done over the last 30 plus years in serving Los Angeles, serving Streets LA. I know you're very proud of the work you've done. I am proud of the work you've done. The city is proud of the work you've done. You made LA a better place to live because of your work. You made LA a place that's safe, that's mobile, that's sustainable. All of you have helped enhance the quality of life for everyone. You've touched my life, as you've touched many other lives. So I want to thank you. Thank you for what you've done. We're going to miss your expertise, we're going to miss your knowledge, but we'll never forget your friendship. You'll always be part of us, you'll always be part of this family, and one day, soon, be able to properly celebrate your careers, celebrate your friendship, and look forward to seeing you soon. So with that, I want to wish you a safe, healthy, and long retirement. Enjoy your family, enjoy your loved one. We love you and appreciate you. And I say goodbye and see you soon.
Thank you, Charlie.
Congratulations, all of you Streets LA folks that are retiring. We are so happy for you. We are so jealous also, but we're really, really happy for you. Thank you so much for your years of service. It was a pleasure working with all of you guys. Best wishes in your retirement. Enjoy to the fullest. Stay healthy. Keep moving. All the best. Thank you.
Congratulations, retirees, for your 30 years of service. Paving streets, fixing sidewalks, trimming trees, code enforcement, and many other tasks and duties that you perform for the city of Los Angeles. I appreciate you, and the city appreciates you for the hard work that you've done, your dedication, service, and duty. Thank you. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You're released from this institution. You get to go enjoy the rest of your life. You get to go have fun and do whatever you want to do. I'm glad for you. May you have a happy, healthy life in your retirement. Enjoy. Thank you.
Happy retirement.
This is Greg Spots in Valley Glen with our equipment operator, Sal, who's one of our 130 SIP retirees. And we both want to tell you, enjoy your retirement. Enjoy your retirement. So, it's a great ride. I hope everybody has a great retirement. Thank you, Sal. He's got 40 years with the city at Rec and Parks and with Streets LA. And as you can see, he's a big Raiders fan. So wishing everybody a great retirement and thank you for your service.
To my colleagues and friends, let me first thank you and congratulate you for a tremendous career with the City of Los Angeles and Bureau of Street Services. I'll be joining your ranks also. I'll be there. A fun fact, 30 people leaving Bureau. That's like 4,000 years of collective experience leaving. In any case, I wish you all happy, healthy, and prosperous future. And the important thing is lots of success in your next endeavor. Thank you.
Happy retirement!
Thank you, and I want to thank you. Let's give them a hand. You know, it's great to see all these beautiful faces and family pictures and people in the field. I want to just highlight a couple of people that are close to me. First of all, Tina Navarro. Tina Navarro is my administrative assistant, has been with me from the day my first kid was born. She's been my secretary and assistant, and my daughter now is 23. So she knows everything about me, if you want to know. And I want to say thank you, Tina. I love you, and best of luck. And I know we'll continue to be friends. I want to acknowledge Elvia Garcia, who's our head of our IT. She's done wonderful, great person that came in and really did marvelous work with the work in terms of getting us new technology and trying to, you know, make lemonade out of lemon, and she was able to do it. And I love what she's done, especially during the COVID and being able to work remotely. So thank you, Elvia. We wish you, we love you. And then my assistant general manager, Fred Muzavapur. Fred, I know you came in, and we were grateful to you. And you wanted to finish your career with the city. You started with the city with me, and now you're finishing it with the city. And I want to wish you the best. You really brought in a new way of thinking, and you've been a great partner. And I'm greatly appreciative to you with the work you've done. And we're gonna keep using you to the last minute, and I look forward to continued friendship with all of you. And we have a lot of people that I met on the streets, Andy Flores, and you know, Karen Bowie, and many of the people that I just look at names, and all of you are special in every way. But I wanted to acknowledge some of the people that I work day in and day out with, Tina and Fred and Alvia. So thank you. And I want to turn it over to President Good.
Thank you, Adele. Thanks for that presentation. And as everyone knows, you'll be receiving, all the retirees will be receiving certificates. You've gotten a letter from us, but I know my colleagues and I would certainly like to at least say a few things to those who've been able to join us today as we move through the afternoon. So why don't I start with Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good, and thank you, Adele, for putting this presentation together, and to all the Streets LA personnel that's here with us today. Thank you for being here with us on a Friday afternoon. I'm sure it's closing to an end to some of you, which sounds really exciting, but sad at the same time. Just to put things in perspective, Adele, how many are you saying goodbye to today? Because I know this is part 2 now, which is
I think
horrible.
57, if I remember right. We did 75 last time, and this is 57 this time, I believe.
Wow. That's for us. That's such a big loss for us, for Streets LA, for the city. Huge loss, and I'm sorry that we're gonna go through that, and I'm sorry, Adele, that you know half of your manpower is going, man and woman. Sorry, I didn't mean to say just man, but man and woman power is going to rest, really. So I just want to say congratulations to all of you who made Streets LA, the city of LA, your career of choice. I saw so many folks with 30 years, 15 years, between 15 to 30, to even some more than that. And, there's something to be said about that says that you loved what you did. You woke up for 30 years, for 20 years, every day thinking how to make your career, your job, your performance so much better, and that equal to a better city of LA. I hope that this career brought you and your family, a good life, because that's really what we all want at the end of the day, is to provide a good life to our families, to our kids, and make sure that they grow to be good citizens and good folks of the city as well. So I hope that this position, this choice you made, has brought all of that to you, and now you get to enjoy those really early mornings that you got up, those times that you were not home early, those times you really get to enjoy that now with your family. So I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you a lot of time of rest, a lot of time of enjoyment with your family, but also I wish that, much more success to you on whatever you intend to do. And thank you for serving the city of Los Angeles. We appreciate it. And you are going to be sorely missed. We are going to miss your work, your ethics, and we hope that the next generation that you bring along, Adele, and the next generation that's coming along, also take this job with pride and longevity, and that they also work hard to make sure that the city of LA gets what we need. So thank you so much to everybody. Have a great evening, and I wish you all nothing but the best. And I'm really sorry to see so many go. Really, it is sad and good for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. President Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you so much. First, I want to acknowledge that today is one of our days where we were celebrating African American Heritage Month, and I heard our leader Adele reference that. And when I came in, I was still clouded from all of the work we had to do today, and I saw Martin, and I saw Nasser, and I saw Craig, and I saw Gary. I said, oh my God, are all of these guys retiring at the same time? What's going on? But it occurred to me that these are our leaders who are here because there are men and women in our bureau who have served us well. And so much so that they have come out to bid a farewell to them for the outstanding service that they have provided, not only to the department, but to the residents of the city of Los Angeles. And when we reflect back upon those of us that have chosen a public service as our means of work, as Adele referenced with Dr. Martin Luther King's quote, it really is about our commitment to serve others that makes us great. Not necessarily have to have a PhD, but the fact that anybody can be great because everybody can serve. And even so, whatever we also do is important. There is no job any greater than any other job. And another quote that Dr. King said that is so relevant specifically to street services is this: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as a Michelangelo painted or Beethoven composed music or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all of the host and heavens and earth will pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. And so that quote is a very famous quote, but it speaks so much and reflects so clearly the work that those of you in the Bureau of Public Works, in the Bureau of Street Services provided. And so even though we have all of these various divisions, no one division is better than the other. But just know that the work that you did in street services made a difference. Can we imagine what would happen if you didn't do your jobs? Many of us would not, particularly in my neighborhood, we wouldn't even be able to get to work because of the papers that would be thrown in the streets, living near USC as an example. So I say to you today that after all of the years that you have served, I've always said as a board member that I'm happy for you to retire. Sure, it's going to be hard on us, but I'm even more happier for you than I am sad about myself on the burden of trying to figure out somebody else to do your job. Because I believe that you have earned it, as your leader, Adele Hatchicle, has said, and you should be able to go and spend quality time with your family because of the work that you have done. The work that you have done has awarded you this benefit that you really earned. And so I'm happy about that. And so today, as we reflect back up on your service, I can look back, and I'm sure you can look back, and I'm sure the leaders that are here, many of your supervisors that are here, will say more likely than not that you did your job and you did it well. For those who swept the streets, you swept it with the same kind of motivation and tenacity as any other professional. So to that, I say, congratulations, and we look forward to communicating with you in the future. And anything that we can do to help you, even though you are not directly in the city of Los Angeles, all of us remain available to you as you have been available to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, very much. I appreciate that. All right, Commissioner Coloso.
Thank you, President Good. Thank you, Mr. Haj Khalil, for your presentation today. You are really stepping up your game for these retirement presentations. Now you have an entire video production. So I thought that was such a nice testament, in a way, a beautiful way to end your last retirement celebration. And first, I just want to say to all the retirees, I'm so sorry that we're not able to celebrate each and every single one of you in a way that we normally would. It's so tough to experience 57 incredible individuals leaving the city, especially during a pandemic. But hope that you know that we're thinking of you and we appreciate all of your contributions to the city. And that, we really wish we could have done this in person to really give you the farewell that you deserve. I also want to say and echo some of the sentiments that my colleagues already shared, and to really also reflect that it is, African American Heritage Month. Dr. Davis had an amazing program this morning and yesterday with the mayor and elected officials. And I wanted to share, since we're sharing quotes and leadership quotes today, one that the mayor shared this morning that I think is so representative of Streets LA and the work that you all do. This morning, the mayor shared one of his favorite African proverbs. It's also a favorite of mine. And he said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think that's so emblematic of Streets LA because you have gone far and fast and you've done it together, especially under the leadership of Mr. Haj Khalil. In the short amount of time that I've gotten to work with you, you've made amazing transformations in the city. And I hope you all know, the 57 retirees with us today, that we wouldn't have been able to weather the storm without you. It is with your expertise and years of experience that we're able to do as much work and deliver as many services to our constituents. And you all make us so proud. And so I just want to thank you for your incredible service to the city. And I'll just close and say that, it's not too late to change your mind. We, are so indebted to you for your service, and we just thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Coloso. All right, Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. I think that the comments by my fellow commissioners have been also beautiful, and I hope they're all really well received. I too echo the same sentiment from them, and just give a lot of gratitude and blessing for the amount of years that you've all been able to endure with the city of Los Angeles, just the ebbs and flows of work. But obviously it's a shared value system that you all have, with the city of Los Angeles, and especially with Streets LA, to be able to stay so long and now be eligible for retirement, through the it's unfortunate, right? It's a mixed blessing just through, everything that's gone on in 2020. But everyone is grateful for the work that you've all done. And we are, we just have a lot of gratitude and just a lot of, I don't know, I just feel it's like a mixed blessing because it's so much brain power also that is leaving. But I do know that with our executive director, Adel Hashkhalil, at the helm, we have a lot of training and a lot of succession planning that's currently taking place to be able to have the next generation learn. But your work is definitely gratitude for everything that you've done, and we wish you just nothing but the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Everyone here knows that I fully and wholly reject the premise. If I could introduce a motion to stop it, I would. I wish none of you would leave, and I'm sad that you are. That said, as an act of grace, I will congratulate you and wish you all wine and roses, because you've all certainly earned it. And I'm obviously playing. I'm super happy for you. Congratulations. But the city is diminished as of today, because we lose incredible women and men who made their mark indelible on our great city. That indelible imprint has only been further underscored over the course of the last 10 months as Streets LA has stood front and center in the epicenter of multiple existential crises, and never blinked, never paused, never equivocated about its commitment, both as families and as a collection of individuals, both as soldiers and as leaders. You all have embodied the great spirit of the city in that way, and we will all be forever grateful. I am readily and regularly struck. This weekend I will walk my dog with my 10-year-old daughter and my boss at home, my wife, and we will enjoy that walk without really affording ourselves adequate time to think about how all of you made it possible, ranging from the sidewalk we're on to our actually newly paved street, by the way, which I had nothing to do with, though I did get paid about a year ago. the street trees we will pass. And of course, that's just part of the incredible work. It'll invariably be clean because there's street sweeping around, and that doesn't even touch on all that that this department, or excuse me, this bureau does. Councilmember Blumenfeld said you will LA will always be a part of you, and that never goes away. And not only I fully agree with that. I would also say that you will always be a part of LA, because unlike 99% of the humans in this city, you actually have put your signature on the ground we walk on. You have put your signature on the pathways through which we traverse this city. It's an awesome thing to think about. You can see your work through the window every single day, and we're grateful for that and proud of that. And so heavy hearts lie here, but we're incredibly happy and proud to have been able to call you colleagues. And so go drink, be merry, rest and relax, get ready for whatever that next step of your journey is, and know that you are loved, and we congratulate you.
One more thing I forgot to say, President. You know, today we...
Mike, I ain't done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And congratulations.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right, President Pro Tem Davis.
No, I had my turn, but I couldn't refuse. We honored Dr. Kismikia Corbett today, an African-American woman who established Moderna, the drug that treats COVID-19. So my message is, we want you to live a long life. If you can get that vaccine, it matters. So I just thought I would be remiss. That's much more important than my earlier speech. Thank you, President.
Yeah. All right, get your shot. But you're absolutely right. So you get it. We love y'all, and we're incredibly grateful for y'all. So we actually have an earlier afternoon than normal. What I would offer up, because we have a number of folks from the Bureau here. If anybody from the Bureau, in addition to Adele, would like to say anything, I would open up the floor. I'll try to see your hands. I see there's Keith Mose, there's Martin, got Craig there. So
all right.
Keith's on. Come on, Keith.
All right. I'd just like to say to all the people that are retiring, thank you for all your service. Thank you for your friendship. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. There's so many names that I can go through, from street maintenance, resurfacing, SSIED, UFD, systems, payroll, that I've worked with all of you that have helped me throughout my entire career, and I appreciate everything that you've done. You know, it's great. I'm happy for you. Enjoy your lives with your family. Enjoy your health. You know, as all we just said, go out, get the vaccine, enjoy yourselves and things like that. Take care of yourselves, take care of your family, take care of your health. That's the most important thing that you can do. Go out there and get some exercise, enjoy life now. And there's too many of you guys to mention, but again, thank you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody? Martin, it looks like. Oh, and then Martin, and then Craig.
No, I really just, I'm a new addition to Streets LA, so I just want to hand it off to Craig by simply saying it's been a very welcoming environment, and the many years of experience that us new folk stand on the shoulders of is one that we respect greatly. We've built a new external relations team, but it's really just about promoting and sharing with the world all the great work that these folks have been creating for so many years. So we stand on their shoulders, and we will carry forth their commitment and tradition. And it's with respect that we look at all the years of work that they've offered to us today.
Thanks, Martin. Craig Shaw.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you.
I looked at a list of 57 names and realized I knew almost every one of you. You've enriched our lives in so many ways. And when I think of success in street services, I was on one of the names on there that's probably really dear to my heart was the very first person that trained me is actually on this list. And Miss Deborah Scott, she told me, you'll never look at the city, you'll never look at streets the same again. And that's true. When I always look at a way to make improvements because that's what she taught me when I first started with the city. When we think of all the things that you've all done in paving our streets, fixing our sidewalks, trimming our trees, you've enriched our lives, as I said before. So we'll take up the mantle and finish the road work for you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Martin. Anyone else?
Hello, this is, here I am, nobody else spoke up. Aida Valencia from Street Renewal Division. I want to thank everybody that's on that list, from our laborers, sweeper operators, our enforcement. We've been together for 30 years, at least that's how long I've been around. And as Craig said, you know, we've crossed paths in many ways, sometimes working side by side, sometimes reaching over the aisles and pulling people from other divisions so that we can get the job done together. So it's bittersweet to see you leave, but just waiting for my turn to come up. Be safe out there, take care of yourselves, and don't worry, Commissioner Garcia, I'm still around for at least seven more years. But I am jealous of those of you that are leaving, and you'll be remembered always. And like you say, whenever we're walking down the street, we see a project that we worked on together, you're still around for us. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you. All right, anyone else?
Hi, I'd like to say a few words.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. You know, we're losing quite a few people who've been here for many decades, right? I'd like to recognize that their work, their assistance in all the projects we have done throughout the years is going to be impacted, but we're going to move forward, and I wish them well. I wish them, everybody on the list here, everybody's going to sign up for the SIP. I wish them the very best and through their next phase, chapter in life. And it's wow, this is great for them, kind of bad for me, but this is good for the recipients here. I wish them the very best, and thanks for everything they've done for us and for the city.
Thank you, Hector. Anyone else? Gary, Chief Harris.
Well, good afternoon, President. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Karen Boy and Deborah Scott, both for all their hard work over the years in my division. And in particular, I want to go back to what Craig said about the first person he worked with when he was in our division many moons ago. When I first came over as the assistant division manager, the first person I worked with was Deborah Scott, and we worked on the beginning of the special event program for the city. And Deborah was instrumental in helping to set up the program that now manages all the events not handled by the police department. She was the key person. I appreciate everything she did back then. She was really showed me the groundwork when I came in as a manager on what the division did and how we operated. And so I really wanted to give her thanks for that. Also, I wanted to point out Karen. Also, during her career, Karen took on a very important task for us. When we gained our memorandum of understanding with LAPD, she became our liaison. Karen worked with the state of California, LAPD, and a number of other agencies to give us the access to the Department of Justice criminal history system, something we use in our investigations. And that's not a small undertaking. It's a very, there's a lot of detailed things involved in that, but Karen did a great job, got us set up in record time, got everything running smooth, and we're really going to miss her efforts in doing that. And one last thing, I don't want to take up too much time, but I do also want to commend both Karen and Deborah. When we changed the status of our employees mid-career, They both had to go back and take some pretty extensive training at the police academy, and both of them went through with flying colors and did a great job and set an example for others as we were transitioning into a new level of authority for our personnel. And they were really great leaders in helping us to move this forward. So for that, I want to thank them both. I want to wish them the happiest and longest retirement possible. But to remember, you'll always be a part of the family here at Streets LA. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. John, oh, and then Kevin. John Duarte and then Kevin. Oh, you're clapping. Sorry.
Hey, let's thank John for the video. Great job.
Oh, yes. Well done. Very well done. Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say a few words because I've been with the Bureau about 8 years, and I think probably 80% of what I've learned, 80% of what I've learned has been from all these folk who are retiring, and they're just they were so welcoming when I came in. I echo a lot of what Martin's comments were, and they've supported me through my career, through the careers of a lot of my staff, and I actually have a couple of staff retiring too. And so congratulations. I'm very happy for you, and I'm going to miss many of you for sure, and I hope to text some of you, especially those who have shown me how to get myself oriented in the city and the Bureau, and very much appreciative of everyone's work. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. All right. Do you have anyone else? Okay. Well, that was good and painful, although certainly, again, reason for lots of happiness. Again, we're just a better city for all of you, and so thank you for being up front with us. We are grateful. Sherrod, you want to add?
Oh, I just want to add one thing. Thank you, President Good. Yeah, so I work with so many of the retirees. It's heartfelt that, everybody's leaving. A lot of people that I work with, but, everybody here has enhanced the quality of life for all, and it's much appreciated, and they will be missed. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I don't think anybody could put a finer point than Sherrod just did. Thank you all very much. It's cocktail hour like on 75% of the planet, so avail yourselves. The days of wine and roses are ahead, and I hope you all have a great weekend. And like Mike said, get your shot. So with that, Dr. Campos, have we cleared the decks for today?
Yes, you have.
All right. Thank you, Streets LA. We love you. Have a great weekend. This meeting is adjourned. Colleagues, we'll reconvene in 5 minutes. No, 10 minutes. We'll reconvene 3:48.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.